Well, good afternoon, viewers. Today we have a 2008 Mercedes ML320 diesel, and it was just dropped off by CAA. Customers complaining about a rattle in it. He said he was afraid to drive it, so it's got 185,000 on it. Feels like it's got a grounded out motor mount. Brake wear sensor indicator is on, but it feels like it's got a grounded out motor mount. Yeah, I put the door closed. It's like a drone in the vehicle. Under load, it goes away. In reverse, it goes away under a load. Feels like it's got a collapsed or broken motor mount. Let's take it for a road test. He said a rattle in it. I'm sure that's what he's talking about. Under the right engine load, it vibrates like crazy. You can feel the engine vibration in the body of the vehicle. Well, we're going to go a little faster. So we got it in the shop. You can hear the dash vibrating, and with the in neutral or in park now. When I rev it up a little bit, it's smooth, but when I let it idle, it's vibrating. It sounds and acts like it's got a grounded out engine mount or transmission mount. So we're going to put it up in the air and have a look at the motor mounts on this thing. So looking from the top, you can't see the motor mounts at all on either side. There's very little room between the strut housings, inner fenders, and the engine, about 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, maybe an inch on the driver's side, but you can't get your hand down there. Let's look at it from underneath. So there's the motor mount on the driver's side. Can't really tell if it's collapsed, but that's what it feels like. It feels like the motor mount is grounded out. The one on the passenger side is next to impossible to get at. I don't know how you're supposed to get these mounts out. There's a bit of an oil leak here at the back of the engine. Nothing extremely terrible, but the motor mount's not saturated in oil on either side, so it's... The transmission mount looks like it's fine. I tried prying up on the back of the transmission or the transfer case here, and it didn't move. Let's see what's common to cause this. So we're back working on this ML320. They got some new motor mounts and transmission mount. And I'm starting to, I've removed the 4 bolts that hold the mounts to the frame. These E12 bolts. 1 bolt was replaced, so this has been a part or somebody's worked on before, because that's not a stock bolt there. You can see the bolt holes up there. You can get it with a long extension through the suspension components. Now the upper bolt up there, I'm going to try to reach it from down here. So access to the left motor mount is actually quite easy. Raise the engine up about 2 inches, put a block of wood underneath the oil pan to the stabilizer bar here. But the right motor mount is not so pleasant. There's a heat shield on it because of the exhaust. If the exhaust wasn't in the way, I'm not going to attempt to remove this exhaust because that'll be a shit show. So we're going to see if we can access that upper motor mount bolt. But I don't know how we're going to get this mount out of here. Maybe out through the bottom here. Yeah, maybe here. Might have to rework some of these heat shields a bit. We'll access the upper bolt for the mount from the top, I hope. Well, I started taking off the trim at the back of the engine to get this air cleaner housing off. But then I looked at it and I noticed that if I took out this air induction pipe, I could just reach down here over top and behind the alternator and access that bolt. I used a short, flexible ratcheting, and then I have this nice little 1/4 inch drive, or 3/8 drive 1/4 inch head snap-on ratchet with a 16 mil snug socket. So I got the bolt out. Now we're going to raise it up again and try and see if we can fish that motor mount out the bottom. Because you're working at the back of the alternator and there's a main feed wire there, you don't want to short it out, so disconnect this and put it off to the side here. And of course put it back together when you're done. Clean the eyelet. So it will come out from the bottom. You have to drop this, unclip this lower tranny cooler line. It was already out of the clip anyways. And push it inboard and then bend this shield slightly and it'll come out through this hole. It is a challenge. I did have to raise the engine another 1/2 inch. I left the mount bolt, the upper mount bolt, in the hole because I didn't want that shield to move, because it retains that heat shield as well. So now we're going to put the new mount in. Well, there's the motor mount installed. Like I said, the left side is actually pretty easy. So we got to change this tranny mount now. I got the 2 bolts out of the bottom. I'm going to lift up on the transmission pan and take these E-drive bolts off, take the mount out. Well, you have to raise the transmission up about 3/4 inch. You can use a 10 mil flex-headed ratchet on these, ratcheting wrench on these things. Once you get them loose, the 10 mil will fit. It's not perfect, but it's easier than using an open end wrench or an E-drive wrench. Looking at this transmission pan, and it's the same as that Jeep Grand Cherokee that I had with these little brackets. I wonder if these brackets are available from Mercedes, because I couldn't get these from Chrysler. They were on global back order, they said, and they were $40 a piece. I had to make some. They're cast aluminum, but we don't have to take this pan off. There's some oil leaks on this thing. Power steering's leaking. Most of this oil is coming out of the intercooler pipe, so there's probably turbo seals that are compromised. I put this pipe back in place. Just consider this free undercoating. Let's see if it vibrates now. So the moment of truth. Wow, what a difference. I hope the camera picked up the vibration from before, because it's 100% gone now. Now he's concerned about this brake wear indicator, and I thought I had it resolved by bypassing the rear one on the passenger side. I can't see anything wrong with them. So I'm going to scan it and see if it's capable of telling me which circuit it is, if it's the front or rear, so we can concentrate on that. I'm not even sure what this brake wear indicator sensor is an input to, if it's the ABS or the instrument cluster or the chassis control module, but we'll see if we can figure that out. But otherwise, the vibration is resolved by changing the motor mounts. So looking at this brake pad wear indicator, the right rear has one and the right front has one. And they're both inputs to the front signal acquisition module under the passenger front seat. So knowing that now, I decided to go back into engine control computers and or the computers, and this is the front brake lining. It says it's okay, and rear brake lining says it's not okay. Now that sensor was, we're going to pull the wheel off and bypass that sensor and see if the wiring's, I already bypassed it, but maybe I didn't make a good connection. So somebody did the rear brakes on this and didn't change the wear indicator. So I bypassed it, but I guess I didn't make a connection. I'll show you what I did here. I've got it jumpered now at the plug at the brake caliper, and it says okay now. So obviously my jumper didn't work. So this is the wear indicator or sensor that goes into the brake pad, and I bypassed it, but there must be insulation on this copper wire. It looks like it's uninsulated, but it's probably got a shellac coating on it, so it didn't make a connection. So there is a varnish coating on that wire. So I've stripped it with a knife and recrimped it. Yes, I know I should be changing the sensor, but I don't have one. And he's going to go back to the guys that did the brake pads, I imagine. But we just want to get the nag off the dash. So here it says okay. This data is live even with the car not running. Rear brake lining, okay. So I'm going to go and unplug my jumper and plug this in. Okay, I'm plugging the jumper now. So I expected that it went open, and I'm plugging the wear sensor in now. Hopefully it says okay again. Huh, that's weird. Let me take that sensor off. Okay, I removed it. Does this one work the opposite way? Or are the terminals not tight on here? Let's plug it back in again. It's plugged in all the way. Huh. Isn't that weird? Yeah, when I put my jumper across the two terminals, try and put the jumper across these two terminals again. Okay, it's jumpered again. So let's check continuity through this jumper here, because I'm jumping the two terminals in the connector and shorting them together, which is what the sensor does. Put an ohmmeter across this thing. So there's apparently two layers of shellac coating on there. There's a gold layer and a silver layer. You got to get through both of them. So I jumped it again, and it's working now. So that'll get rid of the nag. I know that's not the right thing to do. Should be changing the sensor, but I don't have one.